Yes, it's Tales from the Jails with John G. Sutton. Do please like and subscribe, ladies and gentlemen. And if you got any comments, by all means leave the comments down below. A few insults as well. I like them. Larry the Goatherd from Rotherham. He's the expert on insulting John G. Sutton. That's me, by the way. Right, I'm going to talk today a little bit off subject. I'm going to talk about that fake psychic Derek ACORAH, who I used to manage some time ago now. But I'll tell you why he was a fake. Yeah. Originally, I was managing a medium called James Byrne. People who were around in the 1990s watching the scene will probably remember James Byrne. We did a number of TV shows together. I wrote his book, published by HarperCollins, which was The Psychic World of James Byrne. Still available on Amazon, but you only get second-hand copies now because obviously it's out of print. But I was managing James Byrne and touring the UK number one theatre circuit. We did the London Palladium, and one of the people who was watching all this was a guy called Derek Johnson, who was also known as Derek ACORAH. And he and his wife approached me on numerous occasions with a view to me taking over the management of Derek ACORAH. And at the time I was just far too busy. I'd just parted company with the pop singer PJ Proby. I'd let him go his own way because he was a pervert and I'm not being involved with child abuse. So I refused to work with PJ Proby, dumped that artist and started touring the number one theatre circuit with James Byrne, and concentrating on writing his book and various articles that I wrote for him, and in the national press, etc. So, came to me Derek Johnson and his wife, and told me that he was a psychic and that he wanted me to manage him, and I was too busy, as I said. But a few years passed, and James Byrne decided that he'd had enough, and retired, married a wealthy lady and went to live in Widnes, which is where he still is, by the way, still married to the same lady. Good luck, James Byrne. So that left me at liberty to manage Derek ACORAH, which I did, and I took Derek with me on numerous radio shows that I was doing, one of which was me as a comedy act, doing a fake witch doctor called Professor Dr. Daddy Magumba, PhD, which was a joke. It was a comedy show, you know, but I pretended to be this witch doctor, and people would ring into the radio station and speak to me. I'll tell you a little story about that. I'll start with this, yeah. I'll tell you a story, yeah. I used to put psychics on the radio show. I'm doing them myself, of course. So they rang me one day from the radio station and said, have you got any interesting artists or characters that you can put on our talk radio show? I said, yeah, I've got a guy here. It just came to me like that, you know. I said, I've got a guy visiting me from Africa at the moment called Daddy Magumba, who's a witch doctor. Really? Do you think we could speak to him? I said, yeah, just a second, I'll go and get him. He's in the other room. So I put the phone down and pretended to go out of the room, came back, didn't come back, just picked the phone up again and started speaking in a strange voice, which just came to me, you know. I wasn't possessed. I was just possessed of a strange sense of humour. So I started giving him the all this I'm the old daddy, who can't help, you know, the bum leaves and the bagoo, the cards, all that nonsense, you know. Anyway, they said they agreed to feature Daddy Magumba on the radio station, and I took Derek ACORAH with me. I said, you got to come and watch this. So he said, what's so special about this? I said, I'm going to teach you something here that you will need. If I'm going to manage you, then you've got to be a showman. So I'm going to show you how to do it. Because he was just doing it dead straight, and it was boring as hell. You can imagine, I've got somebody called John here. Is there anybody in the audience called John? I mean, this is an English audience of about 1,000 people, There's likely to be somebody in there called John, or somebody who's got a brother called John, so it was all nonsense like that. But he was purportedly the real thing. But anyway, I thought, well, I'll show him how to do this. So I took him to the radio station with me, and I went through all this nonsense with taking telephone calls. You say the old daddy, him spot on. You say, Daddy Magumba, make my wish come true. And people were actually ringing in saying, Daddy Magumba, make my wish come true. And at the end of the show, I said, I told them all that Daddy Magumba was going into a trance and he would be possessed by the spirits. And as he was possessed by the spirits, they would grant all the wishes that he'd. So I went into this strange thing. I had a little bongo drum, bum-de-bum-de-bum-de-bum, and Daddy Magumba, and all that nonsense, yeah. So anyway, ACORAH was sat next to me, and he was laughing so much he fell off the seat onto the floor and was rolling around the floor laughing as I'm doing all this pretend trance thing as Dr. Daddy Magumba, the witch doctor. Anyway, we did a few theatre shows, did the Liverpool Empire, and he was rubbish, be honest. He weren't good at all. He did 5 messages in 2 hours that he was on stage, 5 messages. And I'd said to him, you've got to get yourself round the audience, but he couldn't do it. He couldn't do that. So I had an idea to get him into America. I mean, into California, into Hollywood and Los Angeles. Well, I had some connections there because I was writing books for American publishers at the time, and I was doing a book called "Do You Believe in Ghosts?" Well, I actually do believe in ghosts. I didn't believe in Derek ACORAH, though. Anyway, I thought, this guy, he's got the knack now. I've taught him how to do it. So we went to America. We went to Los Angeles, and I teamed up there with a guy called himself Dr. Larry Montz, the head, the CEO of a company called International Psychic Research, whatever it was, the ISPR, the International Society for Paranormal Research. That was it, ISPR. Yeah, and we did he owned a theatre on Hollywood Boulevard called the Vogue Theatre. So we arranged to put a show on there with Derek ACORAH, got his name up in lights and all the rest of it. And I'd shown him how to do it by this time, and he actually went up there and did it, the full Monty. And of course he loved it, and he wanted to be a big star in America. Well, suddenly we were on MSNBC and I don't know what, a few other TV stations and radio stations, and a lot of the big stars came out. We did a ghost bust at Dean Martin's old house. We went to a place called the Comedy Store on Sunset Strip. That was filmed, and we then agreed with the production company in America to make 2 films called Investigating the Paranormal, and suddenly Derek ACORAH, from being a completely obscure 20 quid a chuck psychic readings, he was up in the headlights and became famous. Of course, well, along with that goes all the nonsense that you've got to put up with, and the nonsense being that he had to perform. Well, I'd shown him how to do it, And when he got the chance of doing Most Haunted, he did exactly that. I'd previously arranged for him to do a TV show with Granada Television, which he did that, and he was incredibly successful with that. But once again, it was a case of him having to ham it up, because if you don't, then there's nothing for the cameras to see. So when he got onto Most Haunted, he fell hook, line and sinker into the trap of supposed fame and began completely faking all these ridiculous possessions that he supposedly had. And he was subsequently exposed by Dr. Kieran O'Keefe, the parapsychologist. Well, he has actually got a PhD in psychology, Dr. Kieran O'Keefe. And that was the ultimate downfall of him. I wrote Derek ACORAH's book. You can see that. Don't take my word for it. Go and have a look on Amazon. You'll see the book. It's called The Psychic World of Derek ACORAH. And it's got my name on the front. John G. Sutton. So that is why Derek ACORAH was a fake. Because he had to be, because it's television. And if you didn't ham it up, then there was no point in doing this. And he followed my script pretty well, actually, but it was a script. And I did it as comedy, but he did it pretending it was real, and it brought the religion of spiritualism into great disrepute, which I was not happy about, because basically he was pretending to be a spiritualist when he wasn't a spiritualist at all. He was a con man actor, a fake psychic. So that's today's little rant about Derek ACORAH, and we've come to that point where I'm going to sing. That's the song dinger, folks. Yeah. You've had your warning now. I'm going to do a Chris Christopherson song, Me and Bobby McGee. You probably hear I've got a bit of a frog in my throat today, so it's going to be even worse than usual, if that's possible. So here we go, that's your last warning. Me and Bobby McGee. Busted flat in Baton Rouge, heading for the train, feeling nearly faded as my jeans. Bobby thumbed a diesel down just before it rained. Took us all the way to New Orleans. I took my harpoon out of my dirty red bandana and was blowing sad while Bobby sang the blues. With them windshield wipers slapping time and Bobby clapping hands, we finally sang up every song that driver knew. Oh, freedom's just another word for nothing left to lose, and nothing ain't worth nothing, but it's free. Feeling good was easy, Lord, when Bobby sang the blues. And buddy, that was good enough for me. Good enough for me and Bobby McGee. From the coal mines of Kentucky to the California sun, Bobby shared the secrets of my soul. Standing right beside me, Lord, through everything I'd done. Every night she kept me from the cold. Then somewhere near Salinas, Lord, I let her slip away, looking for the home I hope she'll find. And I'd trade all my tomorrows for a single yesterday, holding Bobby's body next to mine. Oh, freedom is just another word for nothing left to lose. Nothing left is all she left for me. And feeling good was easy, Lord, when Bobby sang the blues. And buddy, that was good enough for me. Good enough for me and Bobby McGee. There you go. If you enjoyed that, Sick Parade in the morning. Tales from the Jails. Do like and subscribe. Comments down below.